What makes a legacy? Andy Albright here with the N247RU podcast. Today, I am here with Taylor Pardue. He is a communications specialist at NC State and an NC State graduate. And they invited us here today at the NC State campus to talk about philanthropy. And I say, all right, I'm in. Let's talk about it.
Thanks so much for joining us on the NC State Philanthropy Podcast today, Andy. To kick things off, just tell listeners a little bit about your early life and what first brought you to NC State.
Well, first, Taylor, thanks for having me.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Anything to do with NC State?
We appreciate it, yeah.
Anything to do with NC State, I'm all in. So I'm from Burlington, North Carolina,
Okay.
Which is just an hour down the road. Both my parents were big NC State fans. My dad was here at the university for a short period of time, but he got drafted into the Army.
Okay.
But he remained a big fan. So I grew up as a little kid, and all I remember is being a big NC State fan. But what I do remember, when I was 10 years old, in 1974,
Okay.
being in front of those old-timey television and us winning the national championship with Norm Sloan and Tommy Burleson and Monty Towell.
Okay.
Lose my mind. I'm so excited. So that's one of my biggest memories as a kid is the NC State and pulling for them and just being a big Wolfpack fan. So it's on a farm, country kid. As a matter of fact, when people would ask me where I was going, if I was going to college, I would say, I'm going to NC State.
Great.
They'd say, have you considered anywhere else? I was like, no, I've no interest. I'm an NC State guy. And so, so I came to NC State to go to college.
Sounds great. Love that, that early connection to it. When you got here, you were or ended up being an alum of the what is now the Wilson College of Textiles. Talk a little bit about, how you came here and found the textiles program and kind of what that was like for you.
So in high school, I'm going to NC State. So they send recruiters around, recruiting kids to come to NC State. So a guy comes, Jimmy Stevens, from the textile school.
Okay.
I don't care where he's coming from. He's NC State. So he says, who wants to go to NC State? Raise my hand. I'm going to NC State. And he's like, which school? And I was like, NC State. And so he goes, textile school, engineering. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm going to NC State, baby. Yeah. And so he says, what about the textile school? I said, I'm in textile school.
Really?
Now, you understand North Carolina,
Yeah.
back in the day, textile mills everywhere.
Absolutely.
So didn't grow up in textiles, but I know everybody I know works in textiles.
Sure.
So I was like, I'm in textile school. So that was my deal.
Okay.
So coming down here, almost everybody in the textile school came from textile backgrounds, whatever it was, whether it was chemical, manufacturing, management. I didn't care. So I came into what would have been textile engineering, really having never been in a textile mill. So it was a little bit weird for me, but I caught on. They were nice, and I couldn't have had a better experience at the textile school. I just loved all the people. I loved the professors, and getting to know the other kids that loved NC State. And the dorm, I was in Lee dorm.
Okay.
And everybody in that dorm or in my suite was as fanatical NC State as I was. So I just thought I'd died and went to heaven.
Perfect.
I mean, I was so fired up.
Yeah, that was a good time. You graduated in '86, I believe. That was a good time. Your tenure here was a good time for us.
Well, my freshman year, 1983 national championship. So when you're 10 years old and you're a dream,
It's a dream come
like
true.
I'll start crying. You know what I mean? Like I can't watch the 30-30 series, survive and advance. I can't do it because that's my freshman year. It's so much fun. And grades went down, but the attitude was up. And, of course, here I am, same thing today. I'm looking national championship, right? So we got to do it again.
Yeah.
So it was a blast.
So you're here at a great time, you graduate. Talk about that first little bit of postgraduate life. You went out of here and you've done so much as an entrepreneur, in business especially, but you've done so much as an author, a motivational speaker since then. Talk a little bit about how you reconnected with the university as an alum and how you've taken what you've learned here and really tried to spread the word and help others succeed too.
That's a lot. That's a lot. So I started businesses while I was in school. As far as I know, there was no entrepreneur school at NC State. I'd never heard of anything like that. And now it's the Albright Entrepreneur Village at NC State.
Yeah.
But back then, I don't think there was one that I know of. But I wanted to be in business. Yeah. I don't care what it was. I grew up selling watermelons and peanuts and corn. We'd rake up pine needles. We'd sell goats, livestock. Yeah. I was saying, how can I be in business? So I loved what I did at Textile Engineering or Textile Science because of the mathematics of everything and the formulas and the algebra. That's what I got the biggest kick out of, is the mathematical equations, statistics, anything like that. Just like, what's the odds, that I'm going to win, or what's the odds that this is going to break, or that sort of thing. So I was self-employed, always doing something on the side. They call me a hustler, right? But I fell in love. With the girl I'm still married to. I fell in love, and she was like, the life of an entrepreneur, up and down, right? So I had to get a normal job. So I ended up with Burlington Industries, the big corporate, back then, big time international company based out of America, the textile manufacturer. And I went to work with them, got married right out of college, and went to work on this career, but at night. I was always hustling. All my bosses would laugh at me. Like, what do you think? Do you think you're going to be something, or you think that you're going to move up? And I was like, I don't know. I just got a kick out of doing stuff, business-wise. And to tell you the truth, I just started making enough money on the side that my wife, she's got an undergraduate from UNCG, a master's degree from Fayetteville State, and I told her, I said, if you want to stay home, we were going to have a child, our first child, Haley, and I was like, it don't matter. And so I just kept building these businesses, and eventually I told her, I said, I love what I'm doing, I love it, but it's so annoying that I couldn't fly to Chicago, I couldn't go to the Philippines, I couldn't go to Hawaii, I couldn't drive somewhere and be gone for 2 days. They would be upset. Like, you got to get your job. And I'm thinking, I got to have more flexibility. So, and my dad, who I said was a big NC State fan, Army, he is dying of Parkinson's disease. And I wanted to get my kids around him. So she walked away from her job, I'd walked away from mine. So we moved back near our parents in Burlington. Actually moved into the house that my dad built. Wow. That I grew up in. Okay. So because my parents had got older, so we moved back in that with all my ideas and all my hustling was going on. Yeah. I don't know if I'm even answering your question.
No. I keep thinking of, what's the phrase, do what you have to do until you can do what you want to do. That just comes to mind.
Right. And another thing if you love it, like N247RU. This didn't come about day one, but this was me. When I was working in a corporate job, I was working at night and dreaming. When I was asleep, I was dreaming. You know what I mean? And with my wife and my children, I'm just let's go. Let's have a good time. Let's do something, not sit around. And so when I'm in 24/7, I just started building businesses. And I won't say I got away, but I was so involved in my businesses, I was not involved in NC State whatsoever. Which today, my friends that were with me in business, that I've got people been in business with me for 33 years. And they go like, do you remember back when we were building the companies? You didn't never mention NC State, basketball, football, baseball, nothing. It was just about creating the business with my friends, So there came a point where I'm looking around going like, this has been a blast building this company, but I really like to get back connected to NC State. If you can call going to school here was connected. Like I was a student. I wasn't involved. I I played intramural sports and had a great time, went to class, but I wasn't involved. I was just a kid. So I was thinking, wouldn't it be cool to get back involved with sports, with academics, with the kids. And so that's when I started asking around, like, who do I talk to at NC State if I'd be interested in that? And that's kind of what brought me back into it.
Okay. And you've done so much since you've been back. Yeah. Talk a little bit about, the why of, you've already spoken to this a little bit about, why NC State in particular?
You got to pick a team. Here's something we say a lot. If not for the grace of God, there go I.
Sure.
Here's what that means to me. If it wasn't for God and my parents, I might be a Tar Heel. Imagine that.
Sure.
I mean, don't you feel fortunate?
I do.
I mean, what if
Very blessed.
What
Absolutely.
if that's the way you grew up?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But my parents, thank God, were NC State. So I became an NC State. I followed in their footprints, and I became NC State. And so then my question is if I'm such a big fan, how come I'm not helping?
Oh.
Like if I love them and I'm grateful, why am I not helping? And a buddy actually said he knew the chancellor.
Oh, okay.
And said, would you like an introduction? Yes, I would like an introduction. And so that's the way it started. And so I started with the chancellor, and he said, what do you want to do? I said, I want to give back. And he said, how? I said, well, I just soon.
Sounds like the college recruiter coming around, like, I want to help NC State, but, finding that path now to the College of Textiles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing. He says, where would you like to get involved? And he started sending people to talk to me about it. Like, would you be interested in textile school? And I was like, I'm not in textiles anymore. I loved it. It was a great time. Do you like engineering? I'm like, it's a lot of math.
Sure.
And it just kept going on and on about, and I was like, can I just give you the money and y'all decide what to do with it? And they were like, it don't work like that. Yeah. It has to be something you believe in. And I was like, I like football, I like basketball, I like everything about NC State. Can I just give it to NC State? And they said, how about the Entrepreneur School?
Okay.
Or the Entrepreneur Village? And that's when I said, y'all don't have that. So apparently it had started up with Tom Miller, and it was an initiative to help entrepreneurs or kids that were interested, students that were interested in starting their own business. And so they said, would you like to meet the people in charge? And of course, now it's Steve Markham. But so I met with them, and they started introducing me to other people that they had assisted in business. And I was like, I'm in. So they said, we'd like to do an entrepreneurial, I think we call it a wolf tank. So these kids that have business ideas, and we'll give them money like as an award, like a contest, like a Shark Tank.
Sure.
And I was like, I'm in. So they asked me if I would do $100,000 like for a contest. And I was like, sure, love to do it. And so that's how it got started. And then, we did that a couple of years, and then we said, what would be nice if we had a garage, a place to meet. And, they're coming up with all these ideas of how we can help grow the village and how I can be involved with it. And that's when it's kind of the biggest contribution came about when they said, let's start the Albright Entrepreneur Village.
Well, you used a word that I really want to key in on. You said involved. You didn't just say give. What strikes me so much about your story and your involvement with NC State is you get involved not just through giving and just saying, take the money and, use it wisely. You really give through your time and your talent too. You're on advisory boards and different things here around our campus. Talk a little bit about what it's like to reconnect in that way to the university, to really be here and to be part of campus again.
It's a dream come true. I've had access that I didn't know was available. I've got to have conversations with students that I didn't know that I would ever get to have those conversations, because my whole business has been about making a difference and helping people.
Sure.
Okay, now let's be clear. Since as a little kid, we wanted to make a profit. We were selling them watermelons and we were selling them goats, we want to make a profit. But we wanted to do it, we wanted what we're doing for people to love it and enjoy it, right? So for me, the giving back needs to be that they love it, they enjoy it, and get something out of my conversations. So to see the kids go, wow, or to give them a phone number, or they text me about something. I'm looking for a career. Can you point me to? I love it because it's kind of it's what my business is all about, is helping people, making a difference. So it's just kind of like what I do as a passion anyway.
Are there any stories that you feel like sharing that just kind of stand out in your mind? Some of the success stories that you've really seen so far? Some of the maybe the relationships you've made, and
there's so many of them. But be downtown, and they came in to Wolfpack and said, we've got this idea. You know, Bonner, she says, I got this idea that we're going to start this business. And I was like, I like it. She's, I think, third generation beekeeper, and she has this idea. And I was like, I like it. I'm in. I'm voting for them. So we give her, I don't know if it was $5,000 or 10, maybe $1,000, but it was significant to her.
To her, absolutely.
And I think more so than the money, it was the endorsement. Now she's one of the best speakers and endorsers of NC State. She's got these beehives all over the country in multiple states, very successful business. And she was just down in St. Petersburg, had dinner with me, her boyfriend, and my wife, and we went out to dinner. And I'm just always encouraging her and her company and advice on, you know, banking, accounting, legal, anything that I can say, here's a group you can talk to, or here's my advice. She'd probably be one of my favorite ones, success stories. But there's a lot of them that I get a text or an email from saying, guess what? Here's another one. How about this? The same kids that 15 years ago we supported have now become successful, and they're back involved.
I love that.
Now they're bringing money back.
Yeah.
So you're creating that cycle of building the university. That, you know, that's legacy, man. That's generational when you get them coming back.
We you know, we really talk up our Wolfpack, and we talk about that, but it's so nice to see stories or hear stories like this. It's not just a motto, it's not just our, you know, our mascot and everything. We really, as a university, we stay connected, and we really rally around each other, and I love to hear stories like that.
So this is good for you, good for any NC State. So the gentleman was talking to me to introduce me to Chancellor.
Sure.
I was talking to him about connections. I was like, who should I connect with as my business becomes successful? And he said, there's no tighter knit group than successful people from NC State. He said, you've got to get connected to NC State alumni because they stick together.
Yeah.
So, like at my corporate staff, we've got almost 100 employees, got 90-some employees. Cannot tell you how many have come to me and said, I'm an NC State graduate. And I go, hired. And then I go, and what were you looking for to do?
Yeah.
What did you want to do? Because you're hired. and I've got them been with me 15 years.
Yeah.
That's the reason. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like no way. And I go, that's what I do. And I've had people give me opportunities because just simply they meet me at a football game, they meet me at an alumni event, and then they give me an opportunity. So I believe wholeheartedly that NC State is a great, tight community that cares about each other.
What would you say to somebody who, an alum or maybe just part of the larger community that just loves the university but maybe never came here? Maybe they've never made a gift before, but they're looking to find that passion fund, that passion project. What would you say to them to like really, and we've talked about this throughout, but really just why you view this as a worthy investment?
So, so the first thought is this, is giving back is not a responsibility.
Okay.
It's not a requirement. There's zero pressure to me. On the other hand, it's one hell of an opportunity.
Okay.
Like to give back. What a great chance in life to have the ability to give back.
Yeah.
So if you got an opportunity in front of you, take advantage of it. So that was my deal. I'm sitting here with the opportunity. I had the money. I've had the means. I've been through the beatings, the learnings, the things I've been through. So I have the opportunity. So I go to NC State and say, find out what I'm passionate about. Entrepreneur School, Sheldon Leadership. They came to me about that. And I was like, what does it do? He's a general. I'm very impressed. I respect the military. here's what we're doing. The Sheldon Leadership is going out in communities and coaching kids on leadership and personal development.
Sure.
I'm in. So I found another thing I'm passionate about. National champions, baby. I mean, athletics.
Absolutely.
So they get me talking to Coach Dorn, which, by the way, all I'm doing is trying not to cry because I'm talking to the head coach. And he's telling me how much they need a Albright sports medicine facility. And he's telling me how this will help us
Sure.
get talent, retain talent, reduce injuries. I'm in. So it's part of the Murphy Center. I've gotten to know Wendell Murphy.
Okay.
They call it the Murphy Center. That's Wendell's building. And so I've completely not me, I led the investment to redo the sports medicine floor. And there's a lot of great people that jumped in behind it, but I did the lead sponsor there. So that's been a lot of fun. And now I don't think there's anybody more excited about name, image, and likeness, NIL,
Sure.
which is sports. So Savage Wolf, and now Wolfpack. And don't get me wrong, there's some guys, Tom Lavosi and Reed Johnson and Clyde Phillips. Those guys are passionate. I think I'm more passionate, but I've got a lot of other things going on.
No.
But I'm so passionate about it. So now to help obtain running backs, wide receivers, quarterbacks, defensive ends, the ability to jump in on something.
Yeah.
So anytime any of them, the coaches or the advancement teams, say anything about thanks for how much you do, I keep telling them, you ain't seen nothing yet. There's more coming. Because it's opportunity to give, right? So I'm keep trying to build my businesses and keep advancing so that I can turn around and give more, because I believe in what we stand for. I believe in NC State. I believe in the people. I believe in the corporate structure here. And good parenting. No offense if kids didn't go to Carolina, but daughter graduated NC State. She married an NC State graduate. Son graduated NC State, married an NC State
Seriously.
graduate, and had first grandbaby. She's already got her Wolfpack outfit
Hey,
on.
there you
She's 10 days on. She was got.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So now all the contributions, they get to take advantage of being a part of that legacy that's created, and then sharing with them how good I feel, and now they're getting involved. Kind of their first involvement has been the NIL or the Savage Wolfpack, but they've been involved in all of it. And so
that's what I love so much about your giving is like entrepreneurship, Sheldon Leadership, things like this, helping your family. It benefits so many people across campus and beyond in our Wolfpack, just, versus maybe just one program or one area. You've really broadened out and just done so much for the whole university. You can really say the university, not just, individuals.
It's been a blast. I love it. I love the university. I love what it's done for my child. So many stories. Here's one. So my son is just one of the brightest, hardest working kids. And he's just done some crazy stuff. Like sometimes he'll have the tight haircut like you, and sometimes it'll be down to, just massive, long, bushy hair. And in his long hair days, he's so respectful, right? So he's walking across campus. He's telling me this story, and he walks by Chancellor Woodson.
Oh, okay.
And he tells the guy, hold on one second. So he runs over and he says, hey, Chancellor Woodson. Randy talks to him, asks about me, and they're talking. And then he runs back and joins his friends, and his friend says, who was that? And Spencer says, just a friend. But to him to recognize who the chancellor is when he walks by, and to have the wherewithal to stop, go say hello, encourage the chancellor. We appreciate what you're doing.
Yeah.
And for them to call me up and say, hey, guess what?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So that respect, to see that passed along, and, because, happiness is a big deal to me. Money's cool, but happiness is priority, And so to be happy, you got to be progressing and giving away. Everybody's got their own philosophy of happiness, but my happiness is flow. It's like you got to get it in and you got to give it out.
Love it.
Like you got to, I love our football players and our basketball players. They're always giving credit to the coach or giving credit to the other players. When you try to get it and bring it in and keep it in, no go. It's got to come out. So I'd say this: if you ain't happy, try giving some money away, or try getting involved, trying to helping out and being a part of somebody else's happiness.
Yeah.
Because I promise you forget about your problems when you're helping somebody else.
That ethos, that spirit just definitely seems to fit NC State. It just radiates.
I think so. I felt it. I mean, I have felt so many people helping me in my career and my family life with my kids. I mean, for him to even have a chance to stop and chat with this long-haired kid, walking down the middle of campus, But that's the way he would do. That's the way Chancellor would do with anybody. But I'm appreciative of that.
That is a huge vote of confidence to be able to say that you helped both of your kids to come here and, to continue that legacy.
Yeah. No offense to the ones that have kids go to.
Not everybody can come here, but at least there are other universities that they can go to, if not. But
there's some backups.
There are some backups. But,
it is crazy here because how competitive it is to get into university.
Sure.
So that's the other thing is little Ada. She needs to start working on her grades because she's going to have to, and her extracurricular, because they want you to not only got to have academics, you got to be doing something extra outside of it. So it's parenting, it's getting involved and getting them involved in something else. It's fun. It's a never-ending N247RU. So this right here, it's a tail number on my biggest jet. My biggest and fastest jet, this is the tail number. So I knew I wanted 24/7.
Sure. Yeah.
If your jet is from America, it has to start with N.
Okay.
So if you ever see a private jet and the letter is something else, it's from a different country.
Okay.
So I wanted 24/7 because I love 24/7. And we couldn't think of what to put on the end. So we started looking through all that's available, and my Carolina graduate media person says, RU. And I go, RU? He said, I'm in 24/7. RU?
Love it.
And I said, get it. Get it. So now we got it on hats and jackets. It's kind of our go-to. And it doesn't mean we don't work all the time.
No.
But when we're at the ball game,
Yeah.
we're in 24/7.
Yeah, the passion is there.
And when we work, we're 24/7. And if it's a birthday party, we're going to go all out.
Yeah.
It's a good way to put it. Our passion is in. So if I don't have NC State, it's going to be in 24/7. And it's probably going to have NC State on the side.
There you go.
Because I'm NC State 24/7. I'm gonna live right up until I die.
Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast. But truly, thank you so much for all that you do for the whole university. We try to tell you things like that. The chancellor and everybody. We really try to tell you, but we really appreciate all that you do. You really make a huge difference here at your alma mater, and we couldn't think and do without supporters like you.
I think they do a great job of showing me and my whole family, and I appreciate that. And like I said, we feel like we're just getting started. A lot more to do, a lot more to give, a lot more to contribute. Thank you. Hey, congratulations. Wolfpack graduate, and you got your career here at NC State.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic, man.
It's great to be home.
You're in some great people, man. You're going to meet some great people, too. Yeah. More connections. Thank you, guys, for joining us today on the N247RU podcast. And thank you, Taylor Pardue, for the interview and the comments. Appreciate joining you at NC State campus. So follow more on NC State Media, and Andy S. Albright social media is how to follow me. And we will see you on the next podcast.